Hey, Alfred, how's it going? Doing my little internal checklist right now, making sure that I didn't mute myself. I'm able to record correctly. Just enjoying the views of Igua Zoo, which can't go wrong. Everything looks to be working as intended. It is a sleepy Sunday, that's for sure. It's been really it's really kind of rainy for the last few days. But I think we are good. What is that all the way up there? Get rid of that. I'm pretty sure that was an info board for our Galapagos giant tortoises. That's my timer to let me know to go live. So it's not a live stream with Gunther without somehow messing something up. All right, so I have a few things to kind of chat with everybody about, which is mainly what are we going to do with this giant open area? And I've kind of already planned out the main pathway. That'll kind of loop everything together. So the way I view it, we can fit probably a lot more, but I think we can fit at least 3 habitats, and I think that's being on the generous, like on the very low end of what we can put in here. And I've done some research in terms of what to expect from the next animal, and I'm thinking we could do the maned wolf, the 9-banded armadillo, which you can't go wrong with an armadillo, the collared peccary, and the giant otter, which is a nice transition because maned wolf mostly grassland, 9-banded armadillo you're looking at grassland and desert. Collared peccary is going to be grassland and desert as well, and then the giant otter is going to be more water based, so it's a nice little twist, and we can kind of connect it back up with the main water that we see right here. So it's almost like if we were to do like the giant otter somehow in here, which is a nice space where we can kind of utilize this weird design, have like 2 separate habitats with like a little connection point right here. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I think we can do. But I think the $1 million question for today is really what to work on, because I don't really know what to work on. I'm thinking we can probably go something along the lines of, I want to say, the 9-banded armadillo. The small habitat, so we can kind of make use of this space right here, really bizarre space, and we can go from there. Hey, Penguin, welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming to hang out. I was kind of just talking through my thought process. And I want to do some weird things from a path perspective. No, Gorilla, you were right. I appreciated your feedback. I want to do something really weird with this particular habitat. I don't know if it'll work. But what if we, and just like hear me out, what if we do something like a nice little circular path up here. If we were to do a 9-banded, if we were to do a 9-banded armadillo, so my thought process would be to kind of create like an upper viewing deck, and we can have it transition from somewhere around here, so we could see the habitat from here, we could see it from here and here, and then we'd have like a center viewing point which would straddle the habitat. So we're going to split the habitat into 2, have one side and the other side, so they can kind of scurry through like a little hole and stuff like that, or like under the bridge. The question though is, how can we make this work and make it look nice? Because that is the crux of the issue. It's not straight in any way. Okay, that doesn't look half bad. So here's what I'm thinking. So now that we kind of have like a path, I like this like staggered approach with stairs, which I realize is not very like, it's not very accessibility minded, but I think we can get away with it. I think that's okay. But what we'll do is we'll have them walk up, and then we'll have like this nice little, maybe like we'll do like a big old rock or something like that and work it into here, and then have it branch out into some type of sunshade so they have some cover all the way around. So we'll have one side of the habitat, they can scurry through here, and they can get to the other side of the habitat right here. It's going to be a really big habitat for the armadillo, which is a nice juxtaposition from like going from a really micro habitat for the Galapagos giant tortoise to a really large habitat for the 9-banded armadillo. So we can go with that from a path perspective. Don't worry about shooting down the ideas in any way. It's not so much, the upper deck is not so much for the armadillo though. So what I've found is that a lot of people tend to come up here and look into the backside of the alpaca habitat. So this is it's a nice way for them to see it. But on the flip side, what do the armadillos normally hang out with? Oh, nobody. Apparently they just don't like people. Hey, Charles. So, on the flip side, we could switch it from the 9-banded armadillo to the colored peccary. See, I had this giant idea when I was just kind of like sitting doing nothing this morning, when I was just kind of like turning my brain off, and I was thinking about this. I was like, what can I do with my habitat? I really don't require a lot of space. So this might actually work out still. Colored peccaries, they're larger, easier to see. And then maybe we can work in the armadillo somewhere else. And the habitat space is a little bit more user-friendly to the peccary. And then they should still be able to make it through here. The only downside will be, how do I kind of like mask this side of the habitat, which I think we can work with. We can work with this. And you know what I think we can do? We'll go to our graveyard. We'll grab some of these. Hey, Liz. Huh. This might work as a good way to kind of create a nice little barrier that's a little bit more natural looking. My dog is fantastic. She's currently hanging out upstairs with my wife. as is normal. I feel like she loves my wife more than she loves me, which is very depressing, knowing that I am just second fiddle to my dog. It is by far one of my favorite walls. Oh, for the main wolf, you could do an enclosure with a small enclosure for the armadillo in front. I kind of like that idea. I think it's just gonna be really nice to fill this entire area in and not have to worry about like having a giant open area that looks really god awful. Okay, so I think we have a good back border wall set up. So now we kind of have to play around with it a little bit. It's a lot of open space from a habitat wall perspective, like from a barrier perspective. There's a lot of space for them to look out. So if we were to think about, trying to actually think about this. So what if we put some type of wall, like a rock wall right here? This will split the habitat in two. So we can have one viewing area here, one viewing area here, and then one viewing area right here. And we can kind of make this, I want to make this kind of like an interactive viewing area. And I don't know why I want it to have it interactive, but I just want it to be interactive. It's kind of bizarre. So we could have it like, this would be like where the keeper would come for their keeper talks and stuff like that, and then people could watch from up here, and then from right here we'll have one view here. And if we look at the terrain for the collared peccary, we can actually work in one area focus on grassland, one area focus on desert, and then tropical. But because they're all split up, it'll look a little bit more natural. That's the idea. Now whether or not it'll work is a completely different story. And like, what if we did something like a little like, so we can have like some foliage right there. We can be like, okay. A little too close to the no, I don't like that. We don't listen to Blob here. Okay. I have some new music playing, so let me know if you're not liking it, and then I can switch back to the old soundtrack. Or the old playlist. Yeah, I was playing around with it. it is quite the drop. So I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I was playing around with this earlier before the stream, trying to figure out how I could get like a a set of stairs there. Okay, so we have one area, we have two areas. Kind of like bridge this gap a little bit with okay. So we have our kind of our defined areas. You are right. I was actually thinking about doing that. I remember that from the last time you were giving me, you were helping me, because you came up with that amazing idea for the for our cougar habitat. Do you mean like a Nazca drawing, like underneath here, like sinking into here? I like the idea. It's a solid idea. So while we're doing this, a question for you guys. Has anybody heard of the movie Velocipaster? And you'll be forgiven if you haven't. It's kind of like it's an older movie, but it's very niche. It is. It's an hour. It's an hour and 10 minutes long. It's on Tubi. It is the most interesting movie ever. It's so bad, it's hilarious. And I think that it looks like you know when you guys are like in high school, and you're part of the film club, and you have to create your own movie. This is what it reminded me of. It was like some low budget movie, and it was just the most amazing movie. I watched it last night with a few friends, and it was a wild ride from start to finish. So if you're looking for a fun movie to watch, I encourage you to check out Velocipaster. You will not be you'll not be upset. Why the frig can I get a... I can't. There we go. It's even worse than that, honestly. It's not a good movie. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm telling you to watch this movie not because it's good. I'm telling you to watch it because it's freaking terrible. Okay, we have our designated... So we have our 2 walls set up. This will be a foliage plot, so we'll kind of mask the holes there. 2 viewing stations. We can turn this into a covered viewing station, so maybe you reutilizing something like this over here. If I can tag it, there we go. So we could always reuse something like this. Actually, like right there would be perfect. Yeah, you are right. It is an easy movie to be worse than. Thanks, Liz. It's always nice when you can reuse something that you built before. Again, the conversation about the graveyard being like the best place to go. That looks... Damn that autocorrect. Okay, and then over here, so we kind of have to mask this. So this would all be the rock work. Have some more rocks right here. So it'd be a very small area, but kind of be like where they would come to eat. And then we can work it all the way around. Path may not be good for this. Yeah, no, we will place a lot of rocks, that's for sure. I just want to border right here with something a little bit smoother. And it's more so because it's such a small area to work with. I have an idea for these stairs too. I want to try something a little different on this one, making it just like look a little different, a little more fun. This will be the first time I built for the collared peccary as well. So I'm kind of curious to see how I do. It's gonna be a fun experience. Okay, so we have a lot of the guide wall set up. Just need a little bit more over here. Okay. And we think about collared peccaries, we can probably do tropical green grassland. Might actually be the best for us to focus on. And then to Alfred's point, can't really focus too much on foliage because they would just eat everything that's in their their habitat. Minimum 5. I think that's the minimum that we have to have, 5. And then with PZ Plus installed, it's only 328 meters square. So it's not a very large space that they require. So this should actually be more than enough space for 5 peckeries in between the 3 spots. Oh, I would love names. I'm always down for having names. Because I'm absolute pants at coming up with names. So here's what we can do to make it easier for everybody. Let's go to the market. So we need at least 2 male and 2 female names. Right now we have Matteo, Ava, Juliana, and Marco. So if you have a name suggestion for a peccary, put it in the comments. I love it. I love the concept of naming them after the Muppets. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, was to have the goal was always to have some type of like step from this section down, so it'd be a completely enclosed area, well, to an extent an enclosed area that we could change out foliage types as they kind of like descend further into the habitat. So hopefully we'll get like a really nice contrast uh, between the two areas. And then what we can use this area and then this area for. So to everybody's point, you can't really put a whole lot of foliage in with the peckeries because they'll just eat everything. They'll demolish it. So having this area where we can kind of put in some overflowing foliage, and then we can do the same over here. We'll have overflowing foliage. It'll add a splash of color to the entire habitat without necessarily putting a lot of foliage into the habitat itself. And that is the goal. That is the idea. Except that I am going to change this just a tad. There we go. I don't know what it is about right angles that I just enjoy so much, but we're going to go with a right angle there. You can kind of see all the way through. So we'll have to put something right here to act as a blind. I love the idea of placing some cacti. I haven't actually played around a whole lot with the desert theme, so this is the opportunity for us to do so without necessarily pulling too far away from the South American theme. And that's going to be the hard part, is like how can you manage and maintain two vastly different themes and concepts. We're going to try our best. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's all you can do. Try your best and have some fun. And then while I was doing this, so I was thinking, Penguin, I really like your idea of like having some type of like hidden element within here. So originally I was going to put foliage, but I like the idea, and sometimes you see it, so in like really old houses that have been built over like wells that are very like of historic nature, usually what they'll do is they'll put like a window over the well so you can see into it without necessarily falling into it. So I like the idea of putting something like very South American flavored and almost have it seem like this is a part of natural history that we're saving with a glass piece, so you can kind of see in. And maybe we'll have the peckeries kind of like travel along. Maybe it'll be like they'll have like some enrichment items in there where they can kind of hang out and stuff like that. Some ideas, but I like the idea itself. Yeah, it depends. Like a lot of houses in like I'm thinking like Boston as an example. They incorporate a lot of that into the house itself, and part of the reason why is because they built like the house itself is still there, and they want to like they want to restore or keep a certain feature like that in around and safe. So some historical societies kind of step up. We have a few of them in Canada, not too many. All right, let's take a look at our graveyard of habitat barriers. I think when I built this, I built it off the. Pretty sure I built that off the grid, and it's all messed up now. Beginning of America, usually. I'll use Boston as an example. In no way I'm not the best at like Boston history. Don't get me wrong, or history in general. But a lot of places you'll have really old wells that have some type of historic value, whether it's maybe the architecture that went into it. Could be quite a few things really that have gone into creating or as part of that building, and that's really what they want to kind of keep around. So it is a really cool. It's a cool feature, that's for sure. Can you hear her kind of rolling around right now? And just like that, she's gone. She's gone. She's come, she's made herself known, and then she has left. It's like two vastly different styles of barrier. I don't know how I feel about this. Kind of like this though. I also kind of like this. They're both really cool. She's it's how she normally rolls. She'll come make herself known, say she wants some attention, you'll give it to her, and then she's like, alright, I'm done. She's very much a independent dog. I have a philosophy with dogs, and some people disagree. Sadly, no matter how you look at it, dogs are incredibly short-lived. Most animals are, and I don't want to spend my time creating or getting my dog to follow particular rules and be well trained in the sense that she can't go feel the need to explore on her own. So we actually kind of let our dog run wild. She can do what she wants as she wants, and the idea behind it is that she should just be able to have her own life. So anyway, that's my idea. That's how I view it anyway. All right, barriers are set up. Most of our rock work is set up. I have to work in some type of support structure for these, and the last side we really have to focus on is right here. So let's see if we can make something that looks somewhat nice looking. Okay, I have a new idea for what we're going to do with this little space. You know what we're going to do here? We're going to turn this into the hard shelter. And then we'll put some two-way glass on the top, and then that way they're good to go. Yeah, we won't let her disturb. She's not very good with other dogs, and before COVID she would go and hang out and play with other dogs, and then I think now it's very hard for her to understand how to play because for 2 years we didn't really let her interact with other dogs. A lot of our dog parks were closed, things like that. So we try. We normally tell people she's just very vocal and wants to play because she'll kind of play growl and stuff like that. And some people don't like that, and I don't blame them. But ultimately, as is correct, my wife is the boss, not me. So she'll listen to my wife, not me as much. If I have a dog, I attract dog. It is a good philosophy. I think it's part of it is like how you can like you'll read the owners as you walk near them. They'll be like they'll like move to the other side of the path and stuff like that. So you can tell like when somebody doesn't want their dog to interact with you. And we just got to respect that. Everybody to each their own. We're never gonna judge somebody. They don't want our dog to say hi to their dog, and vice versa. We'll always ask like, can they say hi? Not a huge fan of people who just walk up and they assume your dog is allowed to hang out and like say hi and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, and then they'll go and pet your dog. Not a fan of that, with the exception of children, because like children, they just don't know any better. Okay, so I think we can work with that. All right, I think we got our 3-corner set up. So now it's time to make this all look a little bit more beautiful. Very true. It's just some people get very like they're very skittish when it comes to like a dog barking and stuff like that, and I don't blame them. Are they in North America? They're in Mexico. Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's the first time I've really played with North American foliage. It's hard. It is really hard. But like I said, like I'll never judge anybody for how they treat their, like how their dog acts, because like again, I feel that dogs deserve to act the way that they want to. Their lives are so much shorter than ours. Why would we deprive them of the ability to do what they want to do and live their life? Sorry, totally forgot. I need to do something. Okay, sorry about that. That is infuriating. Like, it's one thing to let your dogs run wild and have fun. It's another thing to not even acknowledge the fact that maybe they are doing something that's not acceptable. Because while you're happy with your dog doing that, doesn't necessarily mean everybody else is. Oh my goodness. Not used to playing around with these desert plants, that's for sure. You know what I just realized? There's no way for the employees to get into this habitat. We'll have to set up a barrier somewhere. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. It's a different palette from a foliage perspective. I haven't really I've played around with it a whole lot, just kind of experiencing it. Like, I want to play some more cacti, but like this cacti just does not look like it belongs. On the flip side, it kind of does. But that's how this is how you learn, right? I can see why that would be a little nerve-wracking, Penguin. Like, I don't blame you, especially when it's darker outside, and like sometimes you can tell like when a dog does have like an angry growl, and that's rough. Okay. Where's this from? Africa. We'll do it. We'll add in some we'll break it up for a little bit. We'll add in some of these bushes. Oh, that does look really nice. Maybe if we place it like up here. So it's like not part of the habitat. That is a nice bush. Thank you, Nausicaa. Okay, so I have an idea. it's this one I want. That's a really cool fact, Charles. Thanks for sharing. Does that kind of look okay? Like, in your honest opinion, does this look good? Is it maybe too heavy with these cacti? The barrel cactus? Is this too much, maybe? Not enough? So I think the last thing that we'll have to add in for this area anyway. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence of the amount of cacti, to be honest. I'm worried that it's just too much. It's so fun to place them, you know? I feel like this is way too many. This is just way too many right here, though. Maybe if we swap this out for, like, 2. And then we can place, like, another little bush. Kind of mellow it out a little bit. Okay. Let's do this piece. Do you well, if you ask some people, maybe there's just too many cacti, possibly. Yes, so I've discovered that in Planet Zoo Plus, traversable area in those rocks, I think it's different. It's due to the hitboxes because they changed the size of the hitbox. Hang on. Thought did cross my mind that we should probably test this out though. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, so I found this out. I was playing in the. I was playing around with rocks in the habitat for the Galapagos giant tortoise, and that's when I found out that apparently they're able to utilize the rocks as a traversable method now. And again, I think it's because of the hitboxes. There's some weird nuances associated with it though, because then you have like weird things happen because they'll start like to merge into each other, which is kind of unfortunate. All right, let's place our first peccary. And we're going to rename Jacinta. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Juliana. Let's see what we're going to rename. Peppa Pig. Oh my goodness. Hey, Wowie. Yes, I did. We are building. We're building. Okay, stop. There we go. We're building for the collared peccary. And we actually decided we're going to call this one Mrs. Piggy. Yeah, see, weird. They can actually traverse, for the most exception, over all of the rocks. With the exception of right here, which makes sense. So we're going to do Miss Piggy, and then we're also going to add in Kermit. So we'll have those two. This is actually the first time I've ever built for the peckeries, which I'm excited for. And then we will add in Peppa next. I like the name Peppa. Oh, but Kermit's injured. Oh no. Poor guy's injured. Oh, you can actually kind of see, like, he has like a little cut on his face. Yeah, so hard shelter for sure is an issue. Soil for sure an issue, but that's okay. We can make do. Porky, I love it. So we still have to adopt one more after this final peccary. We probably do two. We can do another female and another male. So we need two more names. They do have a little bit of a far way to run. Porky seems like an interesting name for a pig. Okay, Lola, I love it. Lola and Alfredo. Done deal. Lola. And Alfredo. Now, just in case, because we don't need a giant increase in baby peccaries, we will turn on some birth control there. And then we're going to do Alfredo. Done. So we have 6 peccaries. And from a size perspective, it's barely enough. So we might run into a size issue for the remainder of this habitat. So we have to be a little mindful of everything that we do. I say that as I go to grab another piece of rock that's going to cut into it. Just 2 more of these. Hey, Knight. Okay. I think we're done from... Let's wait until all these keepers leave. There we go. Okay. Okay. Cool. To be honest, we'll probably keep it desert. I like this desert theme that we have going on. Not enough soil. Yes, you are right. Thank you for reminding me. We should put in all of our enrichment items before we go any crazier with our all of our foliage. Hey, Kate. All right, let's just smooth this out a little bit. Okay, we got our mud pit fit in, and it's kind of sunken in and hidden, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Aw, thanks, Kate. That means a lot. What else do we want to put in here? Put in a fruit spike tree over here. You can fit in maybe like some small troughs. We'll do like one right here. Flip another one right here. That should be accessible. Okay, so I've had some issues with this for a while now. This doesn't seem to. I've run into a glitch where I've tried to change the color on this, and it like swaps. I'll change one color, and the other color will revert back to the original. It's kind of weird. We'll do a barrel feeder because everybody loves a barrel feeder. We do some herb scent markers. Stick one there. We'll stick one over here. Hidden by the plant. Everybody loves watermelon. Hate how watermelon does that. Kind of annoying. It is super annoying. It's like the one thing you don't want to have to deal with. I just want my watermelon to sink into the ground. I don't think a scratching post would really make sense. The trees are so large. I've done full tours and then I've forgotten that there's like a piece of like debris sitting on the path somewhere. And then I'll have to redo the entire tour. I've done that too many times. Okay, I think I'm happy with our enrichment items. Quite happy with that. Lots of stuff for them to interact with, except for the one thing we don't have, which is water. And I really liked this water pump. I know what this is. I'm really sorry to hear that happened. I can't believe. Hopefully everything turns out for the better for you, Kate. I can only imagine how frustrating that was. Was it really painful watching me try to do that, Kate? Yes, it was. No, it's because I see it like flicker, so I was hoping that I could just like if I smash down on the place button, it would eventually go in there. It did not, so there is that happening. We'll probably keep with this desert theme. I kind of like this. It did say brute force would not work, but didn't stop me from trying. I feel like that's like a very guy thing to do. Just like just if it doesn't work the first time, click it again and hope for the best. Hey, Blob. Thank goodness. Thanks for coming to hang out. If it didn't work the first time, you didn't hit the button click quick enough. That's the catch. You just didn't hit it quick enough. I really like these barrel cacti. You've come to hate on our peckeries? Come on, Blob. Where's that other bush that I snuck in here? It is. I am counting. I am building for the peccary. Yes. Does that mean you're out? The quickest visit from Blob ever. I realize that we're building for the desert, but I kind of like how full it looks right there from a foliage perspective. Because at the end of the day, like, it's just really meant to take away the eye from the rock. That's all we're trying to do. We're not really going to put a whole lot of foliage in the center here. We're going to place a lot of rocks, but that's about it. So I kind of like how that looks. And the good news is it doesn't play murder with our traversable area, which we're already kind of running low on. Yeah, and we were talking about that. It's the goal is to kind of keep the foliage to a minimum, with the exception of a few like cacti and stuff like that, like bushes that are really kind of hard for them to eat. I'm actually toying with the idea of throwing in some of these dry bushes to make it look like they've already eaten that foliage. It's like somebody left it out and they shouldn't have. Your bag of rice. So yeah, I have quite a few plans for this this habitat or this area of the zoo. I'm actually gonna have a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna try to play with these like weird elevations in each of the habitats and like have some like really cool designs, and more so just to have fun and challenge myself. Build bigger, better, all that fun jazz. Kind of like how that looks. So should be you should actually be saying in Blob we trust. Come on, Blob. The good news is that they're all on the same color scheme. I can play around with it. I can play around with it. But you are right. They are a little orange. Hey, Penguin. Welcome back. Does that color look better to you, Liz? It does blend in a little bit better, that's for sure. Okay, we have to do... Got to place down some one-sided glass. We do have the peckeries in. We put 6. Shelter or space is a premium right now, but we have 80 meters squared just to work with, just in case. We have them all named, and we've also placed down all of our enrichment items. We're kind of like almost set from a foliage perspective. Really, we just have to work on this last area right here, and then we can figure out what we're going to do for this. Which, now that I'm looking at this, hang on. Not a big fan of how it looks. Also not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that either. That looks better. It does look better with the brown curb. Is there another one? Hang on. Yeah, it's just the two colors, right? Yeah, I'm gonna play around with it because I want to make this. I don't know what I want to do with this actually. Before I forget as well, this black does not match. There we go. This may change. We may remove this. I don't know how I feel about this yet. It looks cool, but I kind of like these. Actually, you know what? I do like these a lot better. Okay, this is gonna be crazy, but hang on. Why is this not working? I'm pretty sure I can hear my wife watching RuPaul upstairs right now. We are going to need a sunshade. And I think what we're going to do, the sunshade is going to be up here. I like sunshades, but I'm not crazy enough just to assume that the easiest way to do it would be to do sunshades everywhere. Even I admit that would be too much. I like the other one. It just, the issue I had with it was that it just ran a little, it didn't really mix well with the rest of the habitat. It was like the one thing that kind of like looked out of the place. You know what I mean? Guests need to go to the sun. They need to get out more often. Honestly, part of the inspiration for this came from Lynn's photos that she shared, actually. Okay, let's just let's fill this in a little bit more over here. If you keep on telling you it's going to happen the day after, it'll never happen. Admittedly, though, I'm in a little bit of a quandary for Baldur's Gate 3. For those who've been kind of like following the chat, I've finally hit I finally hit Act 3. And everything's a first for me right now when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3. I'm really happy that I hit Act 3, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad because I feel like I just didn't get to enjoy the story because I was super stressed playing the game. But I've sunk 50 hours into this one run, and I'm kind of wanted to restart it. So I'm in a little bit of a quandary when it comes to Baldur's Gate right now. It's yeah, I don't know. I want to beat this honor mode so bad just so that I can beat it and then I can get my golden die and then I can go on and do another honor mode and kind of just sit back and enjoy it. But I don't want to save scum, and that's part of the issue, which is why I'm not doing it on like tactician mode. Or I would, because I would do it on tactician. But like everybody save scums in Baldur's Gate. It's kind of like it's kind of part of playing Baldur's Gate. I really want to see how your castle turns out, Penguin. It looks phenomenal. Do you play, Kate? Do you play Stardew Valley? Can you play Stardew Valley on your Steam Deck? Why don't you set up a multiplayer game? And then people can like we can just drop in and mess with your farm from time to time. Not saying that I would actually mess with your farm. That's just rude. Yeah, it's you can play multiplayer on Stardew Valley. It's actually really fun. I haven't played the multiplayer a whole lot, to be honest. I don't really have a whole lot of friends that play like in real life. Friends in real life. It sounds even worse when I say it that way. I'm just gonna stop talking right now. No, when I meant like real, I meant like I don't have friends that play Planet Zoo that are like in-person friends. But I feel like I walked right into that faux pas. Think you'll be able to join us for the next Dungeons and Dragons session? My traversable area is fine. It's okay. Okay, maybe not. Oh, they can't actually get up here anymore. Hang on. Maybe it was that. There we go. We're back in. It was the palms right there. That's what it was. So worst case, Kate, what we can do is we can move your character and then you can join the voice call. And then there's an app for Roll20 where you can download and roll all your die there in the game. And then we'll move the character around for you if you want. Hard shelter is really low. Then why does this not count as hard shelter? Or is it just because we have so many of them? I can see why that's important. So we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. Yes, go and explore. Explore, peckeries. Explore, Lola. Okay, now we have to figure out what we're going to do with this. So I have a thought. What if we did something? Oh, actually, hang on before I forget. So we have to figure out what we're going to do for here. So what if we reuse something like this? copy this all over here slowly. Why is there white there? Yeah, I also always forget that pieces are flexicolor. Happens more often than not. It's actually kind of concerning. Running into a weird glitch where I'm pretty sure I clicked on the item and then saying that I didn't. Oh, weird. So we could go with something like this all the way through, which is actually not a bad idea. Hey, Birdie, how's it going? Good news, Birdie. I've confirmed with Kate. So she will be joining us on the next session of Baldur's Gate. Or not Baldur's Gate, my goodness. D&D. Okay, so we have our basic setup. Ooh, a reenactment. Tell us more, Birdie. Birdie will do the same thing that we're going to do for Kate, which is you can join via the chat, join the voice channel, and we'll move your character around. That's really cool. So I realize we're not building this on the same grid as the path, but there's a reason for that, and you'll see at the very end. It's because we'll be able to rotate it around once it goes through. Can't go wrong with that Indonesian stained timber. You know what? This might actually this might be the biggest ever sunshade on the channel. This could be a first. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. This is really cool, Birdie. Like the fact that you go to these reenactments. I hope you take lots of photos for us. Our community, this community is amazing. Let's be real here. So many really cool people that just do really fun things. As long as you're okay doing that, don't get me wrong, I don't want you to feel obligated to. That's amazing. Dog's gonna dog. Come on. Oh my goodness. It does keep the tropical vibe going, doesn't it? Just need to do a slight change to this, I think. Yeah, that's better. The camera does add a little bit to be desired, that's for sure. You know what I'm honestly excited for in Planet Coaster 2 is going to be the, call me weird, the foliage brush. I'm really curious to see how they implement that. That and like the rescaling, the scalable pieces. It's going to be a huge game changer, I think. It'd be nice just to have to use one piece and then you can kind of like play around with it. It is the South American fence, which is probably, this is the only time I've ever used, like I only ever used the fence pieces on something that's not a fence. The only downside is they're not flexicolor. So then sometimes I'll use these doors instead. I'm pretty sure are the doors flexicolor? No. It's the only downside. None of them are flexicolor. So it kind of messes it up a little bit, but I think it's so high up that nobody really looks. I don't know why I was hoping that they would have a square one here, but... Now if I did this, not quite. I mean, like if I did this right, everything should line up. Now we have a nice little sunshade. Everything's going to work out really well. They have great sight lines onto both sides of their habitat, and they can also view into the alpaca habitat from up here. And then, right below them, they have the hard shelter. Okay, you never told us. How did the search go? Your last trip? That's awesome. I'm super happy to hear that everything worked out really well. Way to go, Kate. Abusing her powers. What was I thinking? Let's be real here. All right, it's coming along. I mean, like for a habitat that as you kind of walk up, you immediately see this. It stands out. The only thing I wish is that I could color this differently. I'm not a fan of the green, but I like the idea of kind of like a. It's a way to kind of let air kind of blow through. I think it looks really good. I think it works. All right, everybody, we are coming up on 2.5 hours. And I think the last thing that we really kind of need to do before we kind of call it a day is fix up these foliage plots that I kind of put in. It did fly by. There is a yellow door. I might swap it out. You are right. I might play around with it. Alright, now we kind of get to have fun with this foliage. And what does every foliage need? We need some bracken. Get some nice pops of green in here. Helps if I turn on the random rotation. Okay, so with our bracken in place as our base, now we get to kind of play around with it. I feel like I'm so tired of playing with tropical plants now, you know, in South America. I feel like I've done so much of it. But that does look so much better, though. Hey, Nausicaa. They're so, like... Ugh, they're so bland. Which just sounds weird, because they're actually kind of colorful. You are right. There is a positive to this. It's a nice pop of color, though. That's for sure. They are. There's not a lot, and like what they do have, it's so. I don't know. Like I keep on thinking back to like buffalo grass. Like buffalo grass is so versatile, and there's not a single, in my opinion, there's not a single plant that's as like versatile as buffalo grass. I like those the Buddleia. They are really nice though. See, the issue with this side though is I still have to make. If you think about it from a sightline perspective, like all the other ones don't matter. This one matters though, from like both sides. It's kind of frustrating. Definitely a lack of forethought on my part. Buffalo grass. Oh, man. I keep on trying to fit in a giant rhubarb plant wherever I can. I have yet to find a place that I can put a giant rhubarb plant. Like that's easily like 8 meters wide. Yeah, the tree fern, the tree ferns, they do really well. But to your point, it lacks the ground cover. But I guess, like, you can't win them all. That looks really weird. Still looks really weird. Scaevola, like, I like these plants, but they're not traversable, and that's the issue. Like, when you put it in a habitat, it blocks out so much room. I was gonna say this looks wrong because it got so empty all of a sudden, and then I remembered the reason why it's empty is because we forgot to plant over here and right here. Oh my god. You want to know why it's so empty in this spot now? I think I accidentally attached a bunch of foliage to the barrier, and then when I deleted the barrier, I didn't realize I deleted everything. That's unfortunate. I didn't think they were... I don't think they're traversable. Let's find out. If they are... Oh my god, they are traversable. I stand corrected. I didn't realize they were traversable. That changes everything. You've just changed the entire process for me. Okay, I actually have a photo that I took of this, and I need to see what this photo looked like. What a rookie mistake. Oh yeah, it took out all the foliage right here that I had. That is a rookie mistake. Oh my goodness. We definitely had this like right about there. That's so depressing, actually. Because we even had trees. The only thing that survived was this. Yeah, the only thing I'm looking at right now is just like where I placed the cacti, and then I think that's about it. Everything else is kind of like just like free form. Oh, this is just this is like super embarrassing. Oh, you know what else it deleted? This is so funny. It deleted all the rocks too. Nothing a few rocks and plants can't fix, but that is a lot better though. We're actually going to adjust this terrain too, just a tad. Lesson learned, double check before you delete something. It's actually kind of funny though. Like, what was the chance of that happening? Do they need a pond in their enclosure, Nausicaa, or should you put a pond in their enclosure? Because, like, two different things. I thought I was done too. I thought I was ready to go. I was ready to call it quits. Okay, that's at least better. I can't believe it's almost 2 o'clock my time. And I still got to get some Baldur's Gate in. make sure to let everybody in the Discord know, and maybe some people come and hang out. I'll have to install Stardew Valley again. It's been a hot minute since I last played that game. But it'll be really cool to kind of hang out and play, just build up everybody's farm. Hey, Ninian. It's perfect timing because I think we're about ready to call it. So maybe we'll do a quick overview of what we've accomplished today. All right, okay. It is, I think we are relatively complete. Definitely some minor things we have to do, fill in all these foliage plots. I need to replace this with stairs. I want to put stairs here instead, so I'll have to figure out what I need to do from a foliage or from the ground perspective to get that to happen. But this is our collared peccary habitat. So we have 3 viewing stations for everybody who's joined late. We have our first viewing station down here. Or we actually have 4. We have a second one right here. And we have this large gazebo style sunshade, more like a gazebo. You can kind of come in and view both our alpaca habitat as well as our collared peccaries from above, which I thought was really cool. And in the center, you can see into their little den. And then if you look over here, we have our 4th and last viewing station, which leads up to their foliage bin. And this is our collared peccary habitat. And really cool is all of our collared peccaries come with unique names as decided by the community. So thank you very much for joining in and hanging out, guys, and helping me to build this. It's the first time I've played around with the desert biome, and for not having a plan yesterday, I like to think it kind of turned out really well. It's a nice little addition. It fills up all that space really well, I think. Still going to do a little bit of additional decorating, whatnot. Going to kind of spruce this gazebo up, maybe add in some additional flair. But otherwise, I'm really happy with what we've accomplished. We still have to do all of our education boards as well. Can't forget that. But for 3 hours of build work, this is what we put together. I like to think that's pretty cool. Probably one of my more favorite habitats, to be honest. Right, hang on, I'm trying to take a screenshot here. All right, I think we're gonna call it a day. I think that's enough Planet Zoo, and we'll kind of mess around with it on the in my off hours. But I just want to say thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Really just appreciate it. You guys helped to create this amazing habitat, and I don't think we would have been able to do it without you. And creating a peccary habitat is something a first for me. Working with the desert biome is a first for me. So thanks to everybody for providing feedback and helping out, because this is really cool. I am not actually. I'm kind of hungry, to be honest with you. I skipped lunch. So I just want to again say thank you so much for coming to hang out. I really hope. Okay, thank God. I was worried that the staff traversable area, like right here, is not good. Hang on. Just shift these over just a tad. That's even worse. Gonna have to figure out my traversable area for the staff, but I think we're good. We are set. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and I really appreciate it. And see you guys all in the community, in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, make sure you guys go and check it out. We'd love to have you guys all come and hang out as well. Otherwise, and as always, ciao for now, everybody.